In this video, we're going to have a look at one of the credit templates that the New Zealand Green Building Council has released as part of the Spring Clean. There are credit templates for each of the credits in each of the Green Star tools, and you can see that this one here is for the Office tool and it's for the design phase of the Office tool. So the credit is the TRA for Mass Commuting Transport credit, and you can see that there are 4 points available here. Now this particular credit template has a calculator included in it that calculates your final score. If you look down to the bottom of the credit template, you can see that currently there are no points. So looking down here, you see that you have achieved no points as yet. Going back up to the top, we need to enter information into all of the fields, and it will calculate our score for us. You can see that the aim of the credit is clearly identified on the template, as is the points available, the related credits, and also the accessible area. The accessible area in this case is the site. Below this we have the credit criteria, and you can see here that the credit criteria outline how you would achieve your 4 points available. So you look here at the type of mass transport services available, the number of the compliance services, and also the frequency of each of these services. The calculator calculates a score, so for 20 points from the calculator you achieve 1 Green Star point. To achieve all 4 Green Star points from this credit, you would need to achieve a calculator score of 80 points. We have the compliance path below here. Again, you can see that we have color-coded the compliance pathway. So we have compliance pathway 1 in a blue box. You can achieve this through the postcode. And we have compliance pathway 2 achieved through the calculation method. We're going to look at the postcode method first. So check the postcode box, and then of course what we're doing is we're following the blue boxes now throughout the credit template. Looking at compliance pathway 1 in the blue box, you can see that what's required is a screenshot of the NZ Post website for the location of your project. You want to check that this is the path we're following over in the right hand side, and then you'd enter the file path and the file name. For the file path, you want to start this from the project folder that you might be building on your desktop or on your server. We're not actually going to do this though today. We're going to look at the other pathway, which is a little bit more in-depth and complicated. So we're going to have a look at the calculation pathway. We're going to select that for the calculation pathway, and now we're going to be following the green boxes. So we want to ignore the box for Compliant Pathway 1 and leave that unchecked, and go down to Compliant Pathway 2. Now for this you'll see that we have tables to complete. The first part of the table is for the bus, tram and ferry services. You'll see we have 2 columns related to the frequency of the services during the peak periods. And then down in the rows we have the distance from your building to that public transport service. So we're going to say that perhaps we've got 2 services that are less than 250 meters from your building and less than or equal to 15 minutes. And we're going to have another 2 services in the right hand box at 250 to 500 meters. We're also going to have some train services for this example. Again, we have the 2 columns for the frequency of the service, and we have the rows for the distance from the building. We're going to have 3 compliance services here at less than 250 meters from the building. So both of these boxes have now given us 1 point. The calculator has provided us with 1 point. Moving down, we now need to attach the documentation. So what is required is the design drawings here. Some more information on that is included. We want to check the box in the right hand side to say that this is a document we're including in our submission. We want to put in the file path for this documentation and then the file name. Again, starting the file path with the submission building project folder that you might have on your desktop. We also need a short summary, a summary of the compliance services, so we want to check that over in the right hand side and again put in the file path for this document and the file name, Summary B. We will need an extract from the timetable as well, so we want to check that box and enter in the file path and the file name for the extract. In this case, for this example, we're going to have extract C. Below this, we have an area where you can add in some narrative. So if you have other comments, any other information that you would like to add, anything that you'd need to add to your submission, this is the place you enter it. This is especially important when you're going to round 2 and you want to put in here how you met the assessor's comments, the comments that they made in round 1. Again, you need to confirm that the above information is accurate and correct, so entering in your first name and your last name here, and your company name. So we're using Bob Smith and we're entering in Bob's company. The signature detail here is an image file, so you want to browse your computer and find your signature image, and then select to enter that into the field. And lastly, you want to enter the date. You can see here now that you have achieved 1 point, so the 1 point from the calculator has been moved down and is at the bottom of the credit template. However, if we go further up and we failed to check one of those boxes for the documents, we failed to enter some information, when you scroll to the bottom you'll notice that now it says 0. If you do get a 0, check that you haven't missed any of that information or had any boxes that you haven't checked, file paths that need entering, things like that. So with everything checked, we have 1 point, and of course this is pending confirmation by the NZGBC. So moving up, we've entered our details, we've entered some narrative, we've put in the documentation required, and we've put in the file paths and the file names, remembering to check those boxes. We've filled in the table, the calculator table that has calculated our score. We have selected which compliance path we're following. We were following the calculation pathway. And back to the top, you can see that of our 4 points that we had available, we've actually scored 1 point. So from the public transport calculator, we scored 20, and this gave us 1 green star point. So out of the 4 points available, we achieved 1. That completes our guided tour of a credit template that includes a calculator. The credit templates have been created using PDF software, which means that you can fill it in and enter information using any PDF reader software.